Georgia. She'll join us when she can. I'm going to start call the meeting to order at 3:01 and adopt the agenda by unanimous consent. I don't see anybody from the public here besides the rest of us, so there's nothing there. And Brenda, did you say the minutes aren't ready to approve anyway?
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll skip that. We're going to move on to new business. Oh, wait a minute. I also have to read the script for the recording, or this is Mickey Rowland, Chair of the Commission on Disability. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Jeanette.
Here.
Mary Beth.
Here.
And Augie.
Here.
And I'm obviously here too. Staff, when I call your name, Brenda.
Yep.
Thank you. And no other anticipated speakers. This open meeting of Commission on Disability is being conducted remotely pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. For this meeting, the Commission on Disability is convening by video conference via Zoom app as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join in. Participants may find information on the conduct of this meeting at that location. Please know this meeting is being recorded and all votes taken will be conducted by roll call vote. So now we're moving on to the application for 2 Chestnut Street, and Josh, I'll let you take over. But you have to unmute. Josh. There you go.
Here we go. All right, thanks, Mickey. I'll go ahead and share my screen if that works for everyone. All right, so good to see everyone again. And all right, so this application's for 2 Chestnut Street, otherwise known as Hawthorne House, existing hotel, you know, typical downtown building, mid 1800s, you know, a three-story building. And what we are doing is essentially creating an addition that's going to almost double the square footage of the building and also double the existing room count. We're going to go from about 9 hotel guest units to about 18. So I'll go ahead and show you go through the drawings. So here's the existing building as it stands. And there's also an existing garage which is going to be demolished on this side of the property. The existing hotel is not accessible at all right now. None of the entrances are accessible. The main entrance is the existing stoop, which is actually over the lot line. Again, kind of typical of some of these downtown buildings. You know, steep steps, steep threshold between the deck and the interior of the building, and then a couple of exits off the back. What we'll be doing is, again, we'll be demolishing this existing garage and instead adding an addition, which will actually be, they'll be separated at the first floor level, and I'll actually bring up the 3D model, which I think will be easier to kind of show you guys how this will look. They won't be connected at the first floor level because it'll be about 5 or 6 feet in between the 2 buildings at this level, which is where our new ramp is going to go. But on the second and third floors, they'll actually be connected. So what you get is again, this is the existing condition. Yeah, we're not really showing the ground in here, but you can see the main entrance, old wood egress stair off the side, porch off the side. Basically everything on this side is getting demolished. And this is going to be the new addition, again, with the connector. Second and third floor will be attached on the interior of the building. And in between, we're going to have our new compliant ramp, which is going to take us to our proposed accessible entrance to the back of the building. Going through the plans. So we have the existing basement. It's all just back of house space, just like 6-foot tall laundry, all staff space. Once we add the addition on, again, the existing basement's gonna stay back of house, along with a portion of the new basement for mechanical areas, but we will be putting a couple of guest units down in the basement. There's going to be a new compliant interior exit stair. It's going to go all the way from the basement up to the 3rd floor. And then the 1st floor, again, we'll be demolishing a lot of the existing porches off the back and the side of the building. There's an existing staff kitchen and storage spaces that'll be getting demolished in favor of a new accessible guest suite, which I'll get into a little bit later. Same thing, it's going to be all guest units in the addition. And the only common spaces of the building, there are a few existing spaces on the 2nd and 3rd floors that are common spaces, but those are going to go away as part of the renovation. So the only common spaces in the building are going to be on the 1st floor level. So moving up to the 2nd floor, again, some interior demolition and pretty much just adding as many guest rooms as we can. We'll have a new, on the existing part of the building, we'll have a new interior stair. That'll take us from the 2nd to the 3rd floor because the existing stair is kind of a death trap. And 3rd floor again. So 2nd and 3rd floor, all guest units. And now what the variance we're requesting is actually twofold. One would be 28.1, which would be to not place an elevator in the building to access the upper floors. And the second variance would be 25.1 to keep the existing main entrance non-accessible. So what we are proposing for compliance is, again, none of the building's accessible now. So as part of, so yeah, here's on our site plan, our existing main entrance. There's really nothing we can do here, again, because it's over the property line. That's all select board, and it's just an HDC, it's just a mess. So we're actually going to have 2 new entrances to the building that are both going to be accessible. So the distance from Chestnut Street up to the 1st floor level is about it's about a 3-foot rise. So it's about 36 feet of ramp length. And again, we were able to kind of work it out where you just come off the sidewalk and boom, you come right up in between the buildings. The addition actually on every floor level is going to be about a foot lower than the floor level on the existing building. The reason being HDC wanted us to keep the height of the addition as low as possible. So this floor, and it's recurring on each floor, this floor is actually a foot lower than the existing floor level, but we're pretty much going to come up 2 feet here. We got a nice little landing. Here's our first entrance, and then these wouldn't be the accessible units, but we still have the accessible entrance and the compliant stairs taking us up to the upper levels. And then we come up a little bit further around the corner. We're on the back deck, again, fully accessible up the backs. And then we'll have our new accessible entrance, which will bring us into the common room / check-in area / we don't quite have it all laid out in there yet, but anyway, we're in the building, and then we'll have our new accessible guest unit and bathroom. And since some of the other units in the building are going to be offering two bedroom configuration, there'll either be a day bed or a bunk bed or a smaller bed in the second room. And some of these on the upper floors, we're going to offer the same thing in the guest room. So you would have the option of either this unit 7, which would be the fully accessible room with the accessible toilet. You could either just rent out that one room, or if you were traveling with family and you wanted more of a 2-bedroom, then you would have this common door, which would basically let you rent out both, and then they're connected to each other. So that would offer the same kind of 2-bed amenities that we're offering on some of the upper floors. So again, that's the sort of gist of it. And Brenda, I did get those conditions you sent over, which I thank you for. I don't think any of those conditions are an issue. That they're all stuff, again, as you noted, would be required anyway once we really figure out how the furniture is going to go and all of that. Right now, we just wanted to make sure that the general idea, again, of just keeping this main entrance, it is what it is. And of course, we'll have all the directional signage directing you to the ramp. But basically, here's our new. We're just going to take a building that's not accessible at all, and the first floor is going to be fully accessible. We'll have our accessible suite, our accessible interior and exterior common areas, and the second and third floors are exclusively just guest units. There's nothing else up there. So that's the gist of it, and welcome any comments or concerns you guys have.
So Josh, you mentioned at the very beginning the variances that you need to get this approved for. One being the elevator, and I forget the other, but can you explain why you need a variance for the elevator?
Yes. So the elevator, basically the elevator section states that as base rule, an elevator is required for all multi-story buildings, then it has a few exceptions. One exception is actually if you have a hotel that's 2 stories or less and all the common spaces are on the first floor, then you don't need an elevator, which we have 3 floors. So again, we feel like it's the same principle. All the accessible, all the public common areas are on the first floor. But again, since the exception says you can only technically do that for a 2-story hotel and not a 3-story or 4 stories, really, if you count the basement, that's really what that elevator variance is for. And then again, the other variance would be for all public entrances required to be accessible, because we are hitting the 30% threshold for this building, which requires the whole building to be brought into compliance, which again, as a base rule, would mean we'd have to get the existing main entrance to compliance, and it's not really physically possible. So that's basically the 2 requests, is not to have an elevator servicing the second, third floor and basement, and to pretty much keep the front entrance.
Okay. In the accessible room, you're only required to have 1 accessible room of something.
Yep.
120 rooms or something to that effect.
Yep.
Okay. So, and that's obviously on the first floor along with the common space. You're not showing any furniture or anything within the common room. You mentioned the check-in station would be there. And obviously anything that's put in a common space, furniture wise, or obviously built-ins too, would need to comply with 521.
Definitely.
Can I just go back to the elevator question? It's just like a little bit confusing unless you really did look at the 521 CMR, which you did do, Josh. At what, and in section where it talks about, in section 8, it's all about like transient lodging facilities, which this is a transient lodging facility. And it talks about elevators, and they're saying elevators are not required in a transient lodging facility that is less than 3 stories, but that's not the case here, or that has less than 3,000 square feet per story, which this does do. So actually you are actually really not required to put in an elevator. Am I correct, Josh?
Yes, you are absolutely correct, Brenda, on that section. The only problem is that's actually an inconsistency we found in the 521 CMR itself. The transient lodging chapter says that, but when you go to the elevator chapter, chapter 28, that it doesn't give you the option. It's not less than 3 stories or less than 3,000, just says if it's less than 3 stories. Which again, we feel like is exactly what you feel like. It should be the same thing, but it's less than 3,000 per story. But so this one's almost more. Again, I'll pull it up. So this is chapter 28, which again is separate from the transient lodging of less than 3 stories. again, that section you quoted, which we definitely also noticed on our end in chapter 8, says the same thing or less than 3,000. This one, which we're also required to comply with this chapter, just as it says, no, if it's less than 3, that's it. If it's 3 or more, you need 1. So yeah, we're just sort of trying to cover our bases on that one.
Okay. Does anybody at this stage have any other questions for Josh about this application?
I do.
Go ahead.
May not be questions, it's comments.
Sure.
I'm concerned hearing demolish. This is an almost 200-year-old building. And I know that the HDC approved it, but I'm upset that this is happening to an older building. And the other thing, when you were listing things, Brenda, I would like to have something, and maybe you can't do it, but to be well lit in some of the rooms, because I am sight impaired and I find that I need more light. So I don't know if that's anything, but anyhow, those are my comments.
It's perfectly, the lighting is, Jeanette is perfectly good with us. And as for the demolition, just to clarify it, it's pretty much just going to be almost all interior. The only exterior items we're demolishing are just really the garage, which is an older building. It's not quite as old as the main building, but on the outside, it's really just these porches, the kind of rickety wood stair, and the garage. The actual main building, we're doing almost a couple of windows here and there, but that's really it. So the main building, this is all staying.
You may say whatever you want, but I feel that it's still not a good idea. So just being an old Nantucketer and trying to preserve some of what's the old Nantucket. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeanette, I completely understand what you're saying. And unfortunately, that's, as you know, not really our purview, but.
That I understand.
Yeah.
But I had to comment on it.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody else have any comments or questions?
I have a question. So Jeanette, when you're talking about things being well lit, you're talking about being well lit from the sidewalk to wherever your destination is inside the hotel, correct? So you're
Correct.
talking about sufficient lighting for anyone that has a sight impairment or needs sufficient lighting to get around, correct?
Yes.
Got it.
And the energy light bulbs really don't work that well. So I'll just put that up there.
That's it's a very good point, Jeanette. I'm not sure what our ability is to follow up on that concept, but I think we just have to assume that Josh and Matt are going to be you'll be doing a lighting plan, I imagine, and be able to specify.
Well, I thought I would mention it because there's a lot of, and I know Georgia had mentioned it way back in Penny Snow, that many places are not well lit. And
Yep.
It's not easy to get in or out of them or see, whatever. So
It's definitely a valid concern. I think particularly when we're going basically under the building here. So we'll make sure anybody who needs to come here at night or at dusk, they're not going to be tripping over themselves. And what that entails in terms of specifics, we'll go over that with our electrical engineer. We'll just make sure everything is up to code and just it's nice and bright.
It might, even because it's covered in this sort of a tunnel-like entrance, it might require lighting throughout the daytime also.
Yeah, exactly. It'll probably be either wall sconces located higher on the walls or else some recessed lighting. This will actually be a 1-hour rated floor, but if we can find some. So it's definitely something we're going to have to put some thought into in terms of how well this is. But again, we kind of appreciate the comment because that's definitely something we'll have to consider when we're setting up this whole path, because we want to make sure people are getting from the street to the back of the building in the door, no problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Josh, there's another thing that where Nancy Resendez, she was sight impaired, that was on our commission. One big thing is stairs, and I see that you have handrails on the front set of stairs, but sometimes, like when you're like, for you or me that can see the stairs even at night, even if they're lit. Sometimes like what we've requested in the past was like to put some kind of like a, some kind of delineation of like, you know, where the edge of the stair was versus the rest of the tread of the stairs, just so people know where their foot is landing, or just like make it somehow where one stair doesn't blend into the other stair. For people that have sight impairments, that's exactly what happens. And it's somewhat uncomfortable for people using the stairs because they're not confident that they're going to negotiate those stairs properly. So if somehow we could make sure that the stairs, each stair is delineated well, that wouldn't cause a problem, that'd be great. Especially the front stairs, because that's your welcoming, that's your main entrance for people that that don't have ambulatory concerns. So I'm talking especially the front entrance.
Yeah,
And railings
definitely.
work out well on the, when you're going up and down stairs.
Yep. Or even if there's good lighting in that area on the stairs, it's just such a big, important component for people with sight impairments.
Yeah, I'll definitely broach that with our interior designer. We'll see what we can do. Yeah, because the existing room is a little dusky, so we'll definitely see if we can spruce that up. It's this is basically like a carpeted stair, and we'll spruce it up a bit. We'll make sure. Yeah, so yeah, we'll digest that. We'll go over it with the interior designer. We'll see what we can do to make that as sharp as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's something that we've included. I sent Josh a draft of our letter of support, and all the conditions that we're asking for are conditions that are actually requirements of the 521 CMR that I want to make sure that we're not like left out, you know, instead of just having the grab bars and the accessible bathrooms and stuff too. There's a lot more to making the room completely accessible. And Josh has the copy of the letter that that I sent. And Josh said that would be no problem since they are actually required by the 521 CMR. But there's a couple of new things here that we put in our conditions that I wanted to make sure that the commission understood. Once the project is complete and prior, it's like condition number 12, once the project is complete and prior to the hotel opening to the general public, a representative of the Commission on Disability, which will probably be Mickey, will inspect the accessible areas of the hotel to ensure that complete compliance has been achieved. And so to us, we thought that was very important, that all these things that sometimes get overlooked will be incorporated if we have an inspection, and that's one of our conditions. And the other condition, 13, a lot of times we put conditions in there, people say they're going to follow through on them, but you know, do they always follow through? You know, so we thought maybe if the owner of 2 Chestnut Street must sign off on these conditions prior to our commission sending a letter of support to the Architectural Access Board, at least it puts some, you know, I don't know, it just makes makes the owner feel, I think it makes just the owner feel as if like, okay, now he has to do this. He signed off on it, you know, instead of us just putting it out there to the Architectural Access Board and to Matt and Josh. So those are 2 new conditions that we incorporated in this variance request support letter. Everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically, in a nutshell, we're basically asking them to comply with 521 with the upper conditions 1 through 10, and I guess 11 too. But we're adding our own new ones regarding, you know, sort of our review and the owner's sign off. So those are the new things we're asking them to do. Regarding those conditions, is there any further comment?
No.
I don't think so. Can somebody make a motion to support this variance, these 2 variance requests?
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion. No, you can
Okay.
second. I'll second.
All Mary Beth made a motion, Augie seconded. All those in favor, Jeanette?
I guess.
A reluctant aye, but it's an aye.
It's an
Mary Beth?
aye.
Aye.
Augie?
Aye.
And I'm in favor also. So, Josh, to follow through on this, these are sort of new things for us. We're going to have some communication during the construction, and especially during the conclusion of the construction, if for us to get, into the building in a timely way. So we're going to have to leave that up to you, of course, is to get back in touch with us.
Yep, we're certainly happy to facilitate that and to give you guys an idea of the construction timeline. So they've actually already demolished the garage. We had the demo permit for that. We're currently working on a foundation only permit to get the excavation and the foundation for the new addition in while we're still kind of, throwing together the mechanical, electrical, sprinkler drawings, all that good stuff. So, in the owner's head, they're, of course, trying to open for Memorial Day. We know what's really going to happen is we're hoping to at least get the shell done. And then it's probably throughout the rest of the summer, they're still going to be messing around with the interior. Again, is what I feel like it's going to end up being, but we'll be in touch throughout the process. I'd say by the time the exterior shell's in there and we really start getting into the, then they'll be building the decks at that time in the interior. That's probably when we'll reach out to you guys, and, I'll be inspecting the project myself throughout, because we'll signing off on construction controls. So we'll definitely be in touch when the time comes. We can kind of facilitate, kind of as we're building it, and then probably get you guys in there maybe as we're building it, and then obviously to make sure we're doing it right, and then again at the end for final sign off. I don't think that's certainly not going to be an issue with the owners.
Okay. And then regarding the owners, number 13, you'll have to put together a letter, with these conditions on it, and have the owner sign it and get that back to us.
Yep, I will see if I can get that. If not by tomorrow, then by Friday. Okay. And Brenda, if I send that to you, then that'll be good, and you can just forward your email over to AAB.
Sure, that'd be great, Josh. And make sure you send to my personal email too. I'm going to my mom's tomorrow. My mom is just really, she's just tired. So I just want to make sure that I get that in case that's where I am at the time.
Definitely.
Mickey?
Yeah.
I was thinking grab bars in all of the bathrooms. Is that going to be something that happens? Because I know that I've been to hotels and there's not a grab bar, so I don't get into the tub, and I don't know if there's tubs or showers, to tell you the truth, in this design.
Yes, so the bathroom in the accessible unit, that's going to be the full, wheelchair radius, grab bars on the toilets, roll-in shower, adjustable seat, a whole thing.
I'm talking about every bathroom, because I am associated with a timeshare, and we're putting grab bars in every bathroom. And I don't think it costs that much to do that.
Yeah, it's a really good question, Jeanette. And, Josh, that's probably not a code requirement for the non-accessible rooms. I may be wrong there, but, it's always a good idea. I mean, it's a safety thing.
And as I get older, I like to be safe.
Right, we all do. I'm not sure it's something that we can require, but we can request it.
I think at least blocking for them in each shower would probably be a non-issue. We've done that in some other projects where we may not install the grab bars now, but if they ever needed to be installed, the reinforcement's already in the walls, so you just sort of nail them in. Because I think trying to put them, particularly in some of these existing bathrooms, it might be a little, some of the bathrooms like this might be a little weird, but
Are you not redoing all of the bathrooms?
No, most of the existing bathrooms are going to stay. There's one or two that are being modified, but for the most part, most of these existing rooms are going to stay the way they are. There's one or two or three rooms throughout the existing part of the building that are going to be modified.
Can we make the request that all of the new bathrooms have grab bars installed in the bathing facility, tub or shower? And I'm not, I could actually foresee that we could make that one of our conditions, because this is not necessarily a 521 requirement, but it's a disability commission concern for elderly people. And I think that it's something that is in sort of in our wheelhouse. I think that's something we could require as a condition.
And I know somebody, a family member who did not, when they were away, did not have a grab bar in the shower and fell down in the shower as she was getting out, and was months before she got better. So
Yeah.
it's a safety issue. So I don't know. I don't think it's that difficult. We have grab bars, which we've had put in for Jack, and it wasn't that much. My son could do it. So I think it's, I think it's something to consider.
I think it's, again, it's easy, you're right, it's not that expensive, and I think it's a safety issue, and I think it's within our domain. I think that I wouldn't mind throwing that in as another condition on our approval. Jeanette, do you want to make it
I'll make a motion to add safety grab bars in every bathroom,
how about in all of the newly built bathrooms?
new ones? Whatever. I would like it in all, but go ahead. You may change it for me.
Josh, what about the existing ones? How big a deal is that?
Again, I think the new definitely isn't a problem. The existing, I'd say wherever we can do it,
Let's
we
just say
will.
wherever it's feasible.
Yeah, again, when we say grab bars, I mean, I think some kind of grab bar we could probably do in every shower. I just, when I'm thinking grab bars, I'm thinking like the fully compliant, like the 48-inch, and you need them on both sides. I don't know if that's going to be feasible everywhere, but I think like one, where we have these 5-foot wide showers, I think putting, one long grab bar at least on each wall, I don't think that's an issue at all.
Yeah,
I'm not
that they
thinking
have to
that
be
big,
48 inches.
Josh. I'm thinking just something where you're stepping in and out of the shower or the tub, that you have something to hold on for safety.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
It doesn't need to be the big 4 feet or whatever you said.
Gotcha.
That's a great point, Jeanette.
I mean, I'm just worried about my safety all the times, and I'm looking for railings going down the stairs, no
Yeah.
matter, even if it's well lit or not. I'm grabbing onto safety bars or railings.
All right, so Jeanette has a motion on the table. Is there a second to that? Augie, you gonna second that?
We were just whispering. I mean, I see Jeanette's point, but I think we think for the new ones, we watch enough old home renovation shows to know that you never know what you've got in old structures behind walls or tiles, and you could have pipes, etc.
Well, I think we can condition, sort of say that wherever feasible.
Yeah,
Exactly, whatever,
that makes
whatever it's
sense.
used.
Okay. Is that a second from one of you?
Is it from you?
Yeah,
Okay. Mary Beth seconded it.
Augie did.
Augie seconded it.
Yeah.
All right. All those in favor, Jeanette,
Aye.
Augie,
aye.
Mary Beth,
Aye.
and I'm in favor also. So we just added another condition.
All right.
All right.
Well, Brenda, if you could send the revised draft with that condition added, I'll get that over to the owners, and we'll see if we can get that sign off by the end of the week.
Okay, I'll do it right after the meeting, okay?
All right. Thank you.
No
All right.
problem.
Thank you, Josh.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So in terms of our agenda, what do we got? That was the only new business item, and now we Brenda, is there any updates or old business you want to talk about?
I really don't.
All right. I think we're good to go. Motion to
Motion to adjourn.
adjourn from Jeanette.
I'll
Second,
second it.
seconded by Mary Beth. All those in favor, Jeanette, Mary Beth,
Aye.
Augie,
Aye.
and I'm in favor too.
Thank you. All stay
Who
safe.
seconded that? Mary Beth?
I did.
Got it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Bye-bye now. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Right.
Oh, how do I do it?
End.